Okay, so during a live stream, one of the editors for One Piece announced something big. And honestly, upon hearing this announcement, a part of me is excited because what he said is actually kind of exciting. It's like, holy shit. And then a part of me is worried. And the reason why I'm excited, because essentially, more or less what he said was that the remainder of this arc of One Piece, this whole Cake Island and Big Mom stuff, is already halfway done. And essentially, it's going to be way faster like it was before. However, the reason why I'm worried mainly is because, okay, what are we talking about fast-wise? Because if they're going to go too fast, I'm kind of curious, is it because Oda wants to go faster, he wants to get this over with, or is he being rushed? Because we've seen examples time and time again of what happens with rush jobs, what goes wrong, things that you wanted to be explained will not be explained. And one of the things about One Piece is it's a gift and a curse with the pacing, because One Piece is definitely a lot slower paced than, some other series out there, but it's also a gift because like that slower pacing helped for Oda to plan very nicely, set things up very, just perfect, to the point where the foreshadowing of stuff is automatically like looked at as like, holy shit, because he had time to plan. If we go too fast or he rushes things or whatever due to, like, let's just say it's Shonen Jump saying, yo, get on with the next arc already, then this could be bad. But if it's some really good stuff, and from here on out, simply because again we're already halfway done, the remainder is going to be fast, of like, bam, you're getting this, bam, you're getting that, like, just the big hitters of what we want to see, Luffy versus Big Mom, or Sanji, going at it with his brothers for the final time, then this could be very good news. So that's where I'm kind of like half and half, because essentially, if I'm correct, we landed in Whole Cake, I want to say maybe 20 some odd chapters ago, like probably 22, 23 chapters ago. So it's been about 20 chapters or so since we started the Whole Cake Island. If we're already halfway done, then you gotta assume there's probably 20 more chapters. But if it's gonna be sped up, if we're already halfway done, is it gonna be that we're gonna get 20 more chapters and they're just gonna be absolutely fast paced, or what's up with that? And I'm kind of curious exactly how is it going to be as far as like with this fast pacing. Honestly, is like, I'm worried simply because I'm a fan of One Piece, because one major reason, well, there's several smaller reasons, but it's high quality of storytelling. Oda makes sure to do things at a slower pace, but with a great payoff. And that's the thing about One Piece that I think we can all agree, is that even if something is slow, or there's things that we're like, oh, get on with it already, Oda, ultimately in the grand scheme of things, we'll get something amazing. So like, people will complain about, stuff that went down, for example, in like Thriller Bark, but then we get the great payoff at the end with Zoro taking all of Luffy's pain and stuff like that, because he set things up slowly but surely. You even go to some of the other earlier arcs, Skypiea, it was kind of slow pace, but then we got a great payoff in the end with Luffy versus Enel. It was like there was always some good payoff, and there always is with One Piece. That's why I'm kind of like, yeah, we're gonna go back to a faster pace. He's saying like we had at one given point. One Piece was, I'd say, during like Marineford and those type of areas, One Piece was a bit faster than the norm. We had a lot of crazy stuff, so this could be great. But it also could be detrimental to, at the very least, the remainder of Whole Cake Island, because he also announced that in 2017, we're going to be starting already the Wano Country arc. So we're pretty much probably going to have, I want to say, 4 to 5 more months, maybe even a little over 5 months, and then we're going to get into the new Wano arc, which that's going to be exciting. But again, it's like, Whole Cake, what do we have left to address? You got to think, okay, we got, Big Mom has to be solved, how we're going to get her to basically stop, or how we're going to stop her in general. Are we going to have a big fight with Luffy? Because at this point, you got to think, Luffy is already captured. He's had quite a bit of fights between, Sanji kicking the shit out of him, and his big fight with Cracker and stuff like that. So a big fight with Luffy and Big Mom at this point is inconclusive whether it'll happen or not, because Luffy's captured, he's been beaten up, like he had to struggle against one of the soldiers of Big Mom. So he's struggling against the soldiers. What luck is he going to have against the big dog, the Yonko, Big Mom herself? So that's one question you automatically got to have right there, is that how is that fight going to go down? So that's something that we have to address. We also have to address the whole thing with Pudding and Sanji. Their relationship is like Pudding playing him. Is this entire time, is she really like loving him? What was the last events in the chapter meaning? Like the secret that she whispered to Luffy. That's something exciting there. Then also the whole relationship with Sanji and his family. That needs to be addressed. Is there going to be some sort of reconciliation in the end of all this? Or is he going to have to kick his brother's ass? And maybe, like, honestly, even though Judge has been a fucking scumbag and a piece of shit, and there's a highly unlikely probability of him, having some nice moment with Sanji in the end, out of all of them, aside from maybe like Yonji potentially, and of course his sister. I could see Judge being the only one that would have some sort of reconciliation with Sanji. Maybe Sanji would do something that he'll be impressed with, and he'll say, you know what, I respect you, go on your way, but this never happened. We can never tell nobody. So we also have to address Sanji's relationship with his family, the Vinsmokes, and I'm kind of curious if we're going to get any more information to that whole assassin network in general. So there's something to be addressed as well. Then of course all of the Straw Hats in general that are on Whole Cake Island. We also have to see Jinbei. Like, there's a ton of stuff that needs to be addressed, and if we've had about 20 something chapters and we're going to get 20 more chapters to wrap this up, can Oda do it in the great way that he always does things with the remaining set of chapters? Personally, I think he can. I honestly think he can, because One Piece, don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm complaining, it is kind of slow. So the fact that he's going to speed things up is maybe some of the unnecessary parts that we get in chapters, like Chopper running around, like we didn't need a lot of that, and like little elements of that nature, we can totally just, okay, no more of that stuff. That, you know, that little filler filling stuff that we get in chapters, that's done. We're just going to get big, shocking, great moments from here on out, which as a fan is like, oh, I can't wait. Just please, I hope that, I guess my biggest concern is that Oda is doing this on his own accord. It's not that Jump is breathing down his neck like get to the next arc. It's not that anybody other than the creator himself is like, okay, I think I could do this in about 20 something more chapters and we could go on to the next arc. But seeing as how it's already being announced in that way, it's kind of making me think, is this arc going to bleed into the Wano Kingdom? Are we going to completely skip out on this? Because are we going to potentially have, because let's think, okay, if Luffy is all the way over here and we're going to start the Wano, you know, country arc in about 5-6 months, something like that, then is Luffy going to not be a part of that arc? Because, you know, Zoro and all of them are going to be over there. So it's like, are they going to completely, like, I highly doubt Oda is going to cut Luffy completely out of this. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen in between that time. Is like, is the major arc of, you know, Whole Cake going to be finished and conclusive, and then Luffy's going to go on to Wano Kingdom and maybe he's going to meet up with Zoro and them. Maybe we'll have a couple chapters without Luffy, because let's be honest, looking at it from a perspective of not just the story, but essentially, like, you know, as a reader, you know that Luffy's gonna have to be involved in some way. I don't think they're gonna do like an entire major arc like that without Luffy. So that's also something you gotta take into consideration, is that Luffy has to get his ass to Wano after this arc. So maybe the arc could wrap up and then maybe we can have an intermission, like I want to say about 2 or 3 chapters of Luffy getting there and then linking up with the remainder of the Straw Hats. And honestly, as a whole, just looking at it from a kind of long time fan, I'd say I've been a One Piece fan for like about 6 years. I know there's people that'll say I've been reading it for 10, I've been reading it for 15, which more power to you. I'm kind of jelly. I wish I was reading it for that long, but nonetheless, as a long time fan looking at it, and I know One Piece, I kind of know the ins and outs, I know how it works. It's like, it's scary to hear this, and it's like, I just hope again Oda is doing this himself and this is what he chooses to do. And also, I mean, with the Wano thing, is like, we could be seeing Kaido right after this, which kind of makes me, it boggles my mind in a way that the manga is actually going to go in a faster pace in general, because Wano means we're more than likely going to already go up against Kaido, which we're going from Big Mom to Kaido, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's a whole other story for all the video, but I'm just saying, Luffy, I don't think you're ready for that, bro. I think that's when the whole army that he amassed at Dressrosa needs to come in and help out, because if we're jumping straight from here, like, if he gets into a big fight with Big Mom, how's that gonna work? He's gonna be so exhausted. Then to go to Wano and have a fight with Kaido, like, this is fucking insane. But I definitely want you guys' input on this right now. For starters, knowing that we're already halfway through this arc and the remainder is going to speed up like it used to be, do you think that's a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Do you think Oda got this? Do you think possibly they're pressuring him, or this is just of his own accord? Also, how do you think this is going to work, going straight from Whole Cake Island to Wano right afterward? I mean, again, it's not like they're going to just cut, you know, the end of the Whole Cake arc and, you know, at the end of it, we're going to go and see the rest of the cast, because you got to have Luffy. It's just, it's a shonen thing. Even if you have him away for a few chapters, you got to eventually have him. So maybe potentially the Wano Kingdom arc can start, and maybe we'll get cuts back to like Luffy, you know, traveling over there or something like that. That's a possibility as well. And are you excited for this? I can't fucking wait. Like, I love announcements like this, because it means that we're probably for the next few months going to just get absolute banger chapters of One Piece, of just the Big Mom situation, Sanji's family, just so many crazy things, and I can't fucking wait. It looks like 2017 for One Piece manga is going to be insane, and Oda, bring the greatness. I'm ready, baby. I'm fucking ready. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or you enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Oda, I know you got this, bro. You're gonna do some great shit, and I can't wait. We got some One Piece greatness for the next few months. Let's go.